Start your engine!
Being the second episode for our Random 5 Games, I wanted to give everyone a quick rundown of how these lists are created. I basically took down every known game for a variety of retro consoles that were released in English, excluding demos, prototypes, hacks, fan translations, and games released after the general lifetime of that system. From there, I tossed everything into a randomizer, twice for good measure, and that's basically it. With that out of the way, let's check out some Random NES Games. Destiny of an Emperor is a game loosely based on a manga, which was loosely based on a book, which was loosely based on historical events of ancient China, the Three Kingdoms period to be specific. This JRPG was released some years after Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, but maintains a lot of the similar gameplay, although the battle system is very different in this one. As Liu Bei of the Eastern Han Dynasty, you initially have to save your village from an army of rebels. To succeed, you first have to cross this bridge with a horse sitting in the middle of it. If you ask the horse politely to move, it declines. On further inspection, Liu Bei apparently can't even see the horse. Come on, man, it's literally taking up the whole bridge. As you play, you'll recruit a variety of generals. The number of soldiers under their command acts similar to hit points during battles in the way that you simply see their count below each general on the screen. Depending on how the battle goes and what you have to offer, some enemy generals will join your forces. Doing so also ensures that you no longer encounter their troops as enemies until such time that you release them from your service. Apparently, you can collect a large number of playable characters on your journey. Selecting one of the generals as a tactician for your group will also provide helpful status effects during battles. It's actually unfortunate that I can only give these games a quick look because this is an RPG that I'd be interested in dedicating more time to. I will definitely be keeping this on my list of games to check out later on. Next up we have The Lone Ranger by Konami. Oh joy, a licensed game based on a cheesy old radio and TV series. I mean, if you were a kid back in the 1930s, The Lone Ranger was a pretty big deal. To make a video game about this Western fantasy in 1991, I just can't see the appeal. Although, Konami apparently did, because this title was developed with a huge variety of gameplay. Right away you're given the option to play it with a standard controller, or to play with the addition of the Nintendo Zapper. You also have both top-down, side-scrolling, and shooting gallery type scenarios. For the most part, it starts off fairly simple. Help the townsfolk, find your horse, beat up the bad guys. You can use your trusty guns with different kinds of bullets, or just take on those ruffians with your bare fists. It did seem like these enemies had a slightly unfair advantage since you can only shoot in 6 directions, and they can shoot directly at you no matter what the angle. On the other hand, seeing them hide behind a wall with a bird's eye view, I guess maybe gives you an advantage as well. This is definitely one of those games that I wouldn't give a second glance to if I saw it in the local thrift store. But I'll be honest, the gameplay actually isn't half bad. I'm far from a fan of the franchise, but if the game had been packaged under any other name, I dare say that I might enjoy it. Moving on to a nice little shoot-'em-up, Twin Cobra. This one was advertised as a faithful arcade translation. Graphically, I'd have to strongly disagree with that statement. Gameplay-wise, sure, close enough. There were also ports made for the Sega Genesis and PC Engine, which were much closer to the original arcade version. I do like a good vertical shooter, but I don't think I'd spend very much time with this one. Generally, shooters like this come in a few different flavors. You've got your old-school shooty-shooty make all the bad guys explode types, and then you have the bullet hell variations that gained popularity later on. For those not familiar with bullet hell, just imagine something that looks like a normal shooter, except that your main focus is more about learning to dance like a ballerina through a minefield. Fortunately, Twin Cobra is of the former classic shooter style, but don't let that make you think it's easy. The early levels are certainly not too difficult, but later on you find that enemies across the field tend to fire shots at you in burst intervals, and bullets more often move faster than you can fly. Imagine it's like Neo trying to dodge agents in the Matrix, except the bullets don't really slow down and they're all firing buckshot rounds. And what is up with the power-ups? They always seem to jump away when I get close, like it's actively trying to avoid being picked up. This is actually similar to how it works in the arcade version from what I can tell. Either way, I was never a huge fan of shooters on the NES, and Twin Cobra is an example of why. It's not entirely terrible, but it's definitely not great. Slalom. It's like someone was playing Outrun and said, this should be a skiing game, except more frustrating. I mean, you race forward, you stay within the gates as often as possible, dodge things, etc., etc. One thing I will say is that most good racing games I played didn't have such janky controls. Seems no matter what I do, I'm just constantly oversteering, which is ridiculous considering how many obstacles are on the path. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I've never seen an actual course that's littered with this many trees. Really, it's no wonder that making it through the finish line shows your skier jumping and screaming like a coked-up maniac. It's a miracle he survived. Overall, Twerk Simulator was met with a lot of criticism back when it was released, and I certainly agree. This is not a remarkably fun game. Gotta admit though, that tush is tight. Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge. Oh hell yeah, that's my favorite right there. Let me tell you why. I can play this one all day as long as I file my unemployment on time, and I like to drive my own car because it's a fast car. Tell you what, them other racers ain't gonna know what hit them when I get this thing up to speed. That's right, they may be ahead of me right now, but as soon as they get all the way around the track, they're gonna find themselves right behind me again. See, I'm smart like that. And yeah, they just passed me again, but that's okay because I just need to warm this baby up some more, and I got plenty of fuel in this tank to do just that for the next 30 seconds or so. Don't you worry though, I'm gonna catch up. See, that's right, here I come boys, watch out for... Oh, come on man, what was that? No, what? They hit me, Bill Elliott, help me out man, you gotta... Oh no Bill, don't do this to me Bill. Oh, Bill.